Alright, good day. My name is Nemesis Gibson. I'm glad to have you in this series on learning HTML. So it is just for the beginners. One of the reasons why I'm coming up with this lesson is that a lot of persons do not know what and how to start. So if you follow me calmly in this short video, you are going to learn a little about HTML and it will be a nice time for you to start. So what you are going to do quickly before we continue, for you to be able to follow me, I would like you to click on the subscribe button. Clicking on the subscribe button, you have access to other videos I will be posting after now. So just click on the subscribe button before we continue. Okay, you can also click on the notification button. Once you do that, we are good to go. So first, let's look at what HTML is. HTML is an acronym and it stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Hypertext Markup Language. It's a language of the web. It's used in building web pages. And before now, we used to have static web pages. A static web page is a web page that content does not change except by the influence of human, so it doesn't change. You can't. We rarely have such websites now where content doesn't change unless the admin will have to change it. What we have now is dynamic web pages. So we also have dynamic web pages. So HTML, everything you see on the web page each time you visit the website is HTML. I'm going to do a illustration in a little moment from now. And apart from that, it's used to display content on web pages. I've said that. HTML is not actually a programming language. It's just a markup language. Let's not be confused. Another thing you need to know is that HTML runs on web browsers. It runs on web browsers. Now, combining HTML with other languages, you can build dynamic web applications. So as you go on in this tutorial, I'm going to see how we can bring in cascading style sheets. We'll also see how we can bring in JavaScript, PHP, and we are going to be able to build a complete web application. Now, another thing I want you to know about HTML while we progress is an element. Now, when we talk of elements, take for instance, you step into a room. Everything you find in that room are what I would call elements. You can find things like cupboard, chairs, pictures. Now, when you visit a website, you come to realize that you find things, you find forms, you find images, you find paragraphs, you find links, and so on. All of these things are called elements. And elements is simply everything you find within a web page. Everything. Now, one way to describe an element is by using the attributes. The attributes are those things that describe an element. For instance, looking at the room again, you see we have a parlor. Okay, a cupboard. A cupboard has attributes. It could be the color, it could be the height, it could be the weight. So everything on web pages has an attribute. So for instance, if I pick something like form, I can have table. I can have table background color, table height, table width, and so on. Another thing is that you use attributes to describe these elements. Another thing I want you to look at is the basic structure of HTML. HTML as a whole is divided into two segments. You have the head and the body section. Take note of it because I'm going to show you in the practical section. All right. Another one we'll get to see in the practical section are some basic keywords and tags. After that, we'll move further to see how we can create our first HTML page. You see HTML forms, tables, links, images, lists. Then we do a little of CSS and off we go. So the first thing first, how do you begin? How do you begin? For you to begin coding with HTML, very important, you need to have a text editor. You need to have a text editor. A text editor is a computer software you use in typing your code. It could be Notepad. It could be Notepad, not sticky notes, but Notepad. All right, we can use Notepad. So if you have Notepad, no problem. Apart from Notepad, we can use other text editors. For beginners, I used to recommend Notepad. But because of how short this video is, I will recommend you should have something like this. We call it Sublime Text. Is another text editor. Apart from Sublime Text, we have I also have the Visual Studio VS Code, yeah, Visual Studio Code. There are others. I have Python, though that one is for Python programming. So you need to have a text editor, and very important. So having a text editor, you should also know how to save. We are going to go straight to that. But remember what I told you, that HTML, an HTML page is made up of two structures, two basic segments. So how do you write? Okay, first let me say this. I have made mention of elements and keywords. Everything within a web page is an element. Now, how do you denote an element? You denote an element by mentioning the keyword that relates to that element, and then you put it in angular brackets. For instance, if you are talking about table, if I want to write table here, I'll write table and put it in an angular bracket. That makes it a keyword. It makes it an element rather. So we are going to look at that. Basically, what I'm going to do now is to create a basic HTML page. And once I do that, I, I will make some explanation for you to understand further. So first, I'm going to save this into my folder. I'll quickly create a new folder on desktop for this class. All right, so here now you can create a new folder, brand new folder. Nothing should be inside, and just call it whatever project you want to call it. Let's call it Castle. Castle is the name of the project I want to create. So for now, when you are saving, you save it with .html. Any name that relates to the content of the file, and you save it with .html. So now this becomes an HTML page. If you go to desktop where you saved, 2020, open where you save, notice that it's an HTML file. That's an HTML file. You can only open with the browser. So if I open now, you notice there's nothing inside because we've not added anything yet. It's gonna be blank. Title, everything is blank. So we start by adding some stuff. So the first thing is you begin with HTML. Alright, because of the text editor I'm using, it has given me the basic structure of HTML. But for the sake of this class, I'm going to delete it, and I will write from the beginning what you need basically now. I write HTML and I close. Now this is called an opening tag, and this is a closing tag. The closing tag is always denoted by this slash. That means that every tag you open always be there to close. Remember to close it unless it's an empty tag. So HTML, recall the diagram I gave to you. HTML is divided into HTML is divided into two basic structures. Say something like that. Wow, I can't find the image. I can't find what I just did now. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. So we have the head section and the body section. So I'm going to divide this into the head section. I also close the head section. Then we also divide again the body section. Now this is the basic structure of HTML. Every web page has this structure. Every web page has this structure. Once you right click, okay, there's nothing on this page. Out of internet. I will show you as we proceed. Now every web page has a structure. So the first thing we are going to do is remember you have saved it without HTML. The head section, insert a title, an element called title, and close it. Now this is where the title of the page is. So once you put, for instance, if I say home. Then I call it castle. This is what will appear on the browser. Okay, let's go back to our page. Notice these have changed. So how did I insert that? Using the title tag. We'll get back to the head section. The next one is you come here. I want to say welcome to Castle Homes. So in the body section, and I refresh, you say welcome to Castle's Homes. So if you've done that, you've just succeeded in creating your first HTML page. A little more further, we are going to proceed. So leaving the HTML page, the contents just like that is not fine. So a moment please, while I attend to call, I'll be back. Okay, so I was saying that this now would display the contents on the web page. So let's look at how our website is. Okay, this is our website. I want to make it big, so I will be talking about the basic tab H1. Now, still on this channel, you can search for it. I have short videos on each of these topics, which I'm going to do here. So you can take time to listen to them and do a practice. Because what I'm doing now is just a crash course, just to help you fix one or two things. And secondly, if you have questions, if there's any video you want me to create, you can just comment at below, comments at the comment section, and I'm going to put up a video on that. So that's what I've done now would make it bigger. Okay, I want to take it to the center. So taking it to the center, I just come and add an attribute called align. Align center. Once you do that, you see taken to center. Okay, I'm going to combine, I don't have time. I want this video to be as short as possible. So I'm going to combine CSS. CSS is cascading style sheet. CSS is used in styling web pages. So I'm going to combine it. I also have a series of video on my channel on CSS, so you can take a look at it and study carefully. So I'm going to combine CSS. CSS, I'm going to use the internal CSS, meaning I'm going to stand here to insert CSS. So when you want to insert CSS, you use style. So everything that comes in between style is CSS. So like the H1 there, I'm going to say please format my H1. Give it a background color. Let the color be maroon. I love maroon. Then let the font color be white. So once you do that, let's check how. Oh wow, web page have changed. Alright, I'm going to close this gap. The gap you are seeing here. The gaps you are seeing. Okay. Just give me some minutes. Let me attend to it. Okay. So I was saying we are going to close this gap. These gaps here. So how am I going to do that? I'll simply get to my CSS and use asterisk. Once you say asterisk, you are saying all for all, and I will say let the margin for everything is 0. Once you do that and save, you notice that it will close up. Okay, back to, I just get here and change the fonts family. Let's use area and font size. Let's use okay, 20 pixel. Alright, bye. Okay, let's see how it goes. don't know. So the next thing is I'm gonna create back to my HTML. We're on HTML. I'm going to create a simple user login form. But before then, I'll put it into a container called div. Div is just a container element. You use it to hold content on web pages. So let's say this is a div. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to put my login form there. Okay, this is it. So I will assign a class to this div. I didn't assign class here. I just formatted. I'm going to show you the difference. I can call it container since it's container. Now that I'm using a class, there's no need coming here to say div. I just say dot container. That dot there signifies that it's a class. So you say dot container, and then you say background color. Let's have something like okay, I'm gonna use color code. Let's see. I have a video on that, so you can also check. Okay, the color code is there. You see it has changed a bit. So let's make a bit or it's something else. Alright. Okay. So I want to take it to the center here. So I will also add width. So width, let the width be 40%. Let's see. That's reduced. I can even reduce it to 30%. Now I'm going to take it to okay the height. The height can be 300 pixels. 300 pixels. Alright, so I'm 300 is too much. I'm going to take it to the center of the page. Imagine the width is 30, so I will now say margin right. 30, 100% minus 30 is 70. 70 divided by 2 is 35. So you have 35% here. Margin right is 35%. And margin left also. You have margin left is also 35%. With that, I'm able to centralize the div. I'll push it down a little bit. With a margin top. Let's say 15%. Pixel. Alright. So it's so simple. 40 pixel. Alright. Alright, so I'm gonna put my form inside here. I'll simply get back to the container instead of here. I can use a comment. Comments are non-executable segments, like this is my HTML. So I can have something like a form method. We'll talk more about form method post, or you go to my video on forms and read, and form action. I'll leave it here. You can read and watch my video on forms to know more. So all right, so I'm gonna put username. Use input type text. Oh, so you can check my lesson on forms. Let's see how it goes. Okay, have username. Then password. Input type password. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna put each of them in a div. Alright. Okay. So I can have something like field set. Legend. You just have to try it and see how it works. Legend. So these are looking. Yes, there it goes. Okay, so you have the download. Alright. So let's add the submit button. I'm gonna stand here a new div as a div and I say input type submit and value should be login. Alright, so I'm gonna allow you to try up to this. Try up to this, and if you have questions you can leave it. And okay, so in this case now I'm going to let me remove the background color of the container. You can just make it a comment. We don't need it anymore. So I just need you to do that. And if you have any question, you can get back to me by dropping on the comment box. So we will continue from here in the next lesson.